Hi, my name is Bill Thomas. I'm with Performance Therapy Sports. I'm the baseball development director, and I'm a physical therapist.
My name is Brooks Fortenberry. I'm with Performance Therapy in Clinton. Bill, I just had a few questions about what your recommendations are for your throwing frequency with athletes.
That's kind of there's a lot to that, to throwing and how much you should throw. Really, give you an example. Whenever kids take pitching lessons on a Tuesday, and then on a Thursday they do a bullpen, and over a weekend they may throw 8 to 10 innings at a time. Then you've got these large number of pitches and throws that have occurred over a short period of time. Then you go from that weekend to the next weekend, and then so now you got 2 weekends where you've thrown 150 one week, 150 the next week, and it's just this huge cumulative effect. So like for a 12-year-old, that's a lot of pitches when you've got a major league guy sometimes don't even pitch that much in a short period of time. So it's real important to look at that volume. At the beginning of the season, you're going to keep that number down. You don't want to have a large number of pitches when they first get into their playing. And then look at what they've done in the fall, in the previous year. They might have played all fall ball, summer ball, so again, you got that cumulative effect over a period of time and rolling right back into the next season. And then you got stressed soft tissues, this flexor muscles in here get really fatigued and tired, the shoulder gets tired. You got kids that are growing really fast at that age, and so growth plates are wide open, they're soft, and they can fracture real easily. I had almost 30 growth plate fractures last year in the spring, but kind of because of that. Another cause of that is that they go to a pitching lesson that encourages this real heavy rotation at the beginning of their motion, and they don't really incorporate their entire body into the throw, and they end up stressing out the apophysis, the growth plate, and they'll fracture, and then you have to shut them down. And then you've got this long period of time where they can't play. So it's kind of a complicated answer, and it really depends on their age, how much they play, where they are in their season. There's a lot of factors that involve that.
You think of a typical school season as like February to pushing into April, maybe even May a little bit, but I know that like for younger kids, it's the summer, maybe even to the fall.
Yeah.
Is that like right when the season ends? Do you want to like put down the ball for a period of time, or is it just, I don't know how it plays out with the seasons.
Yeah, for us, I really love for them to not completely stop throwing. What we do in here is mechanical work, using plyo balls, throwing them into the wall, working on their motor pattern. And so we got to work on that consistently in order to develop those motor patterns the right way. So really focus on training. ASMI, the Sports Medical Institute, recommends training 5 months out of the year. Okay, and then playing the rest of the months out of the year. So that's super important to understand. Training is going to make you a better athlete and a better pitcher, not more playing. You don't have to be in here every month, but come in here a couple of months at a time, train, then go play. Then come back in, train some more, then go play. If you do that, that's called periodizing your training. You're doing this up and down thing with your training and play. And professional athletes do that. They come off of it, they recover, they learn how to recover. You have to know how to recover well in order to stay in the game.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you're not going to stay healthy. Your soft tissue is going to break down. You're going to end up having lots of issues and not be able to play.
So you may not necessarily have to put the ball all the way down, but it's just about how you're training, whether it be competitive throwing in a competition on the mound versus in here training and long tossing and doing an arm care program.
Yes, that's right. So we'll still, they come in and do our arm care program. We'll do really high volume band work, high volume workouts involving the scapular muscles, the shoulder, and then we'll throw a little bit. We'll go back in our cages, and we'll do some throwing, and we'll do, the younger kids do game type things, fun type stuff, but they're still active in that motor pattern, throwing the baseball, to make sure they don't get completely out of it, because, a lot of people say, well, you just got to rest. If you just rest, what's going to happen is your muscles are going to atrophy. They're going to get weak. You kind of lose that ability to know where that arm slot needs to come through, and then you got to start over. If you just do nothing, then you got to start over. Now, it is a good idea to go and play another sport. I think that's great. Go play a sport. You encourage balance on both sides of the body. I think that's super important to play other sports, especially at a younger age. You want to make sure that you're balancing everything out left, right. I don't think you should completely put the ball down, but you modify it, you bring the number of throws way down, and you focus on the training side of it.
Yeah. Kind of one more question on the timeline like that. Baseball to me is such a weird sport in regards to how you use the fall. If you think about a spring season, you use the fall to prepare as a team in practicing, and then you're just going for Christmas break. And I don't think any other sport that you have a 4-week, the team can't be organized practice together.
Right.
But then you come back in January and it's go back immediate to full speed, and you have games coming up in a few weeks.
Right.
How do you manage that in regards to arm care?
Right. That's the time in the fall to train, improve your game. You know, you just got to have a focus on, that's when I get ready for spring. That's the time I'm going to not just, I'm not going to just come into January and go to the first practice, and expect to be able to throw and get on the mound and pitch. That's not going to work. And that's kind of why I get so many injuries in January, in February. I'll see them, they'll come right in the door. I mean, literally within a couple of weeks of them start practice, because they've done nothing with regard to the scapular muscles, the rotator cuff, to get it strong, stable. So as soon as they get out there, they start having issues. The other thing we look at too is like a kid that's 12, 13 years old. I tell the parents to watch them on the door, because if they're growing really fast, in like 6 months they've grown 2-3 inches, they're at a very high risk for injury when that happens. When I get a kid in here that's 12 or 13, I want to stay with them throughout their junior high, high school, develop a relationship with them so that we can kind of get to know them better, know where they are, know what their issues are, and then be in and out of here, not here all the time necessarily.
It sounds like you're really developing like a good 12-month plan to how to go through the ebbs and flows of the competitive seasons.
You're right.
Like that's helpful.
Because baseball now, and the culture of baseball that we're in, they're playing 10 to 12 months out of the year. They're playing a tremendous amount of time. So if you're going to do that, that's like playing like a professional athlete. So you better train like a professional athlete if you're going to play that way. Right. So you have to think differently in how you move through the year. It's not like when we were kids, when we played for 3-4 months and then we didn't.
Football. Football from July to November.
Yeah, it's completely changed, and every sport really is like that now. And then you can overtrain, and so you can play too much, and then you start breaking down.
So that makes sense.
So
thank you for watching our videos. If you enjoyed our content, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of all our videos when they come out.